Alright, I've got the 406 short block pretty much all finished up. I need to do some final cleaning, and then I'm going to oil everything down real well. It's going to be at least a few weeks before we get on to the next process. And I think I'm going to skip over to the Power Glide project next. Just wanted to go over quickly a couple things with this assembly. Everything went pretty smooth. We've covered it in a few videos. I still have a couple videos to come out still. But one thing I wanted to touch on is you always want to make sure you have good clearance from your rod bolts to your oil rails here, and then also just kind of anywhere else there'd be interference. There's another spot around the edge of the cylinders and then your cam tunnel, but this is stock stroke, so that helps you a little bit. But with these rod bolts sticking out so much, like some of the scats are actually recessed to help with those clearances. These ones do stick out a little ways. I checked these two cylinders initially before we started assembly just to make sure we weren't going to have any clearance problems. Well, I did make a slight mistake there. So everything was good, plenty of clearance, plenty of clearance, plenty of clearance. Literally, the last rod, cylinder 8, we had a little bit of oil rail clearance issue. If you look closely, right here, where it comes down to the base of cylinder 7. And nothing major, but just had to do a little bit of clearancing there. And you normally don't want to do that when you have the entire short block together up into the last rod. And I did check, but I should have checked. Normally, your lowest clearance will be back here where this oil rail tapers on an angle inward. So I should have started back here to check. But anyways, you can see I just took a carbide bit and notched that real slightly. Now I have seen where guys have gone too far and actually struck water. I had a machine shop do that on one of my blocks once. So they were able to repair it, but I wasn't too happy about that. So I went real light, and then I'll show you the next thing I did. Not ideal, not something I like to do, but again, I've had machine shops do it before on my engine, that actually same engine in the past. So I know it's not too big of a deal, but if you look, you can see I tapered the edge of the bolt right there. Now I also did that with a carbide bit and then just sanded it flat with a file. The reason why I did that is I wanted to keep heat in the bolt really low, because you don't want to get that bolt real hot and change its temper. Just barely notched it there, so it's not going to affect strength or anything like that. I personally don't feel comfortable doing any more than that. I've seen them done more than that, but I like to always be on the side of caution. So with that being notched and then adding a little bit of clearance to our rail, we have about 55 thousandths clearance there, which is absolutely plenty. Again, you could be a little tighter than that, but I like to err on the side of caution. Kind of worst case scenario, give plenty of room for deflection, which that's way more than enough. But just something for you guys to keep in mind. I should have known better, and I do know better. I just got a little ahead of myself. Now, with that being said, I did have to notch this with the short block assembled, essentially. So what I did is took 2 different plastic bags and went up and around everything, covered up everything really well, and then put rags up. And then I even actually put a rag up into the top of the cylinder, notched this, and then cleaned it out real well when we were done. So I flushed it out 3 times now, blew it all out. I'm still going to go back and clean it out one more time before assembly, but just something you need to check. Anytime you have a rod bolt or a rod that's aftermarket that's going to stick out further. Just some things to keep an eye out for, and the next videos I'll probably be either assembling the camshaft side of things in the valve train or going over cylinder head, which cylinder head package I pretty much have figured out, but I still have a few options there. But just some information. I think that'll be it for today.